Hey guys, it's Lily VSG here. I am coming to you for my week 5 post-op check-in for my gastric sleeve surgery, and Beanie Wells is joining us today. Say hi, bub. Say hi. Thank you. Um, let's see. I've got a little bit of a list, so I'm probably gonna stick pretty close to it. I actually just got home from my first follow-up with my endocrinologist since surgery. I hadn't seen him since May. It was a pretty bad appointment, so I'm gonna save that for last. If I go into it now, I probably won't make it through this video. So let's see. Today I weighed in at 242, so that's a loss of 4 pounds since last week. So we'll take it. So I'm sorry, I'm just very scatterbrained after that appointment. So I'm just gonna kind of just go through the motions down this list. Had a few new things to eat this past week. I tried some Chinese food last Friday. 'Cause that was my jam before surgery. I'd always do the sweet and sour chicken combo with veggie fried rice and an egg roll, and then order crab rangoon. And there, my lowest points is probably when I would order from 2 different places. Like, I'd order the same thing every day, like every day of the weekend. So I would order from different restaurants so that they wouldn't recognize me from the day before. So I just got a little pint of sweet and sour chicken, and it was weird because I got a couple bites in, it sat fine, but it just didn't do anything for me. So I guess at that point, that was a really big, like, way to realize, wow, I have changed, I'm not eating my feelings. I'm not eating for a reaction anymore. I guess I'm not a foodie anymore. I don't know. It was very enlightening. I was actually more excited about the workout clothes I found at Target on clearance. So I was just like, to hell with this food. Took myself to a movie Saturday. Went and saw Me Before You at the Dollar Theater. I actually bought that book and had been reading it. It was so good. And I saw that the movie was actually at the Dollar Theater, so I went and saw it for $2 and decided I was going to try some popcorn. Oh, it was so good. Hit the spot. It was just a tiny small bag, and I got maybe a third of the way through, and I just kind of got bored of eating it, so I stopped. But that made me happy that I can tolerate popcorn, because like, I can't see a movie without popcorn. I don't see a movie often, but if I have to do without popcorn, it would devastate me. Let's see. I did meet up with a friend yesterday. Saw another movie 2 in a week, and after how long without seeing one, went and saw Bad Moms. Oh gosh, so funny. She's actually a gastric sleeve patient also. She was sleeved in Tijuana about 2 months before me. And I hadn't seen her since her surgery or mine. We hadn't seen each other in quite some time, so it's so great to catch up. And we actually went for a margarita afterward. It was so good. But no, I did not get drunk. One drink, and I mean, I felt really good. I felt really loose, but I wasn't, pissed drunk. I wasn't turned with a T. So, I mean, alcohol's gonna hit everyone differently, but that was just my experience with it. I mean, she kind of calmed my nerves because she's like, yeah, I was drinking about a month out. I mean, obviously, we're not hitting the bar, we're not doing shots, but I didn't see anything wrong with having a margarita. I got my fluids and my protein in, so I was feeling a little dry this morning though. So I guess if you do plan on drinking, try to shoot for some extra fluids beforehand or afterward. But what's next? I actually had someone reach out to me on Instagram who's contemplating, gastric sleeve surgery or weight loss surgery. I think she said sleeve. I don't, off the top of my head, I'm not certain though. she had quite a few questions. So I hope, if you're watching, I hope I did a good job answering those. But I thought maybe that would be some good information to put in a video in case anyone else, was curious. Basically about my pre-op process. Mine's maybe a little unconventional because I actually started this in 2011. I met with my surgeon, Dr. Paul Masick, out of Northside Hospital in Atlanta. But then I had changed jobs because I was a smoker, and his requirement was that you quit for 2 months before, they'll try to schedule you for surgery. And so before that 2 months happened, I ended up switching jobs. So the insurance I had then didn't cover it. So here I am. So when I came back to the company I was with the first time I saw him, and met with him last September. Oh, excuse me. I saw him last September just because my insurance wouldn't, verify the requirements. They said that my surgeon would have to, and basically they're like, I don't know, so as far as it had been since 2011, my particular insurance didn't require the 6 month or the however long, supervised diet. So it was just going to be, I needed an MD's referral, my psych eval, and then whatever pre-op from the hospital. So I decided I was going to upgrade my insurance benefits to the better, more expensive plan after the first of the year. So I was going to hold off on most of my expensive stuff, like my EKG. That was one of the hospital requirements. And lo and behold, for 2016, my health insurance decides they want the 6-month supervised diet. So I just kind of piggybacked on my nutrition evaluation. So I guess let me run down these because I'm forgetting stuff. I had to have an MD referral. So my primary doctor and I had a falling out a few years ago because she didn't believe in the surgery. So I asked my surgeon if they had any referrals. They referred me to my endocrinologist, Dr. Scott Isaacs. Really cool. He was actually the medical consultant on that new ABC show, the weight loss show. I think it's called My Diet's Better Than Yours. He's written a lot of books. People know him. So met with him, and he did all my blood work too. I had to have a nutrition evaluation, a psych evaluation, and then the hospital required me to have a chest x-ray, an EKG, and I was told a pulmonary function test just to make sure my lungs were working, but turns out they didn't need it. Anesthesia was actually confused on my surgery day. They're like, is there a reason you had this? I said, I thought y'all needed it. So those were my requirements. So I had already done my nutrition evaluation, so I just called and scheduled 5 more appointments, 1 a month, to satisfy the 6-month requirement. And, oh god, I'm sorry, that's been an emotional day. It's kind of took the wind out of my sails. But that's basically what I did. My nutritionist didn't really have me doing anything, basically just wanted me to, practice putting my fork down between bites and eating out of smaller dishes and not eating in front of the TV. So I kind of took it upon myself to adopt the low carb, high protein diet, and I lost, I think, 25 pounds, whatever the math is. But that was my pre-op, and then my surgeon's office submitted everything to health insurance for approval. And it was supposed to only take 2 weeks. United Healthcare uses Optum Health, and they have a bariatric program. So the nurse had told me, oh yeah, we'll have it reviewed in 2 weeks. It took about a month. And then my surgeon, so I think it was beginning of June, maybe the first or second week, and my surgeon's office emailed me, and so I called to schedule a surgery day. They actually could have got me in June 29th, which I would have loved because I wanted my surgery before my 30th birthday, which was July 1st. I already scheduled a cruise for my birthday, so we ended up going with July 13th. If you have any questions, or if that doesn't make any sense, just leave me a comment, because right now I'm just, my thoughts are pretty scrambled. I guess one of the big symptoms I've had, which is pretty common, is just acid reflux. So definitely going to ask for a refill of my Prilosec. I mean, I've met my deductible, so might as well let them pay for it instead of just going with over-the-counter stuff. Also, I was still a smoker for the longest time. I actually quit and then fell off the wagon on my cruise because there's a lot of alcohol. So that's what I consider. I use an app called Quit It just because it's really neat to see how much money I've saved, how many cigarettes I haven't smoked, and it tells you all the health benefits. So that was why I changed my quit date to, was my very last cigarette when I cheated on the cruise. So it's officially been 1 month, 14 days, 20 hours, and 33 minutes. I've saved $125.06. I have not smoked 550 cigarettes, and I've avoided over 5.5 grams of tar. So that's exciting. What else? This video might run a little long. I'm sorry. Things I'm eating on puree. I've been doing a lot of tuna. A can of tuna lasts me 2 meals. I've been taking the can of tuna. I'm doing 1 slice of cheddar. I crumble it up on top, and a tablespoon of mayo, a little salt and pepper, and that's 2 meals for me. For some reason, that fills me very quickly. For breakfast, I've been doing a Greek yogurt, and then still, some shakes, snacking on some cottage cheese. Not a whole lot, just because I'm still super focused on my fluids, because I just struggle getting those in. But for the most part, that's about all I've been eating. I could probably do an egg. I think last week I had an egg over easy. It was good. It just hasn't dawned on me. I guess I haven't been particularly hungry for anything, so I just go for whatever's gonna hook a girl up with some protein. Yesterday I did do some refried beans. I made my own pintos and cheese. So I did a half cup of the refried beans, a little bit of the red sauce, and then I think 1/4 cup of shredded mozzarella on top. It got all melty. It's way too much food. It was crazy. It's way too much food. Never thought I'd see the day, but it's too much. I guess I lost another friend since we last had a visit. She may watch this, so I'm just gonna preface this by saying this is my take. This is how I saw things as they happen. If I'm wrong, you want to talk about it, give me a call. This is just how it appeared to me. This friend and I had offered to help coach her daughter's softball team this fall with her. I used to play, love softball, love her kids. So I mean, I was very excited about it. I did what I needed to do. I had to let him run my background check, had to pass some online certification and everything to get approved to be a coach, and I'd done all that. And last Wednesday, she and I went walking, and her friend showed up, dropped her kids off. Well, her friend seemed to kind of pout. I guess she didn't feel like walking, was pouting that we were. I don't know. I don't really know this girl very well, but I know that she doesn't seem to like me. It's like anytime I see her, she doesn't speak to me unless I speak to her and kind of force her to. She almost gives me like the side eye, the up and down the stank eye, which is like, honey, you're in your 30s, be an adult. Don't take this shit back to high school. Don't be a cunny bitch. Basically, I feel that that's cunty bitch behavior. Pardon my language, but I don't have patience for mean girls. We're grown-ups. Come on, you've got kids. Be an example. But anyway, when I left the track, things were fine. We were going to ride together to the coaches meeting the following night. I don't know if there was some discussion about me or what after I left, but then she sent me a text that night that we would have to ride separately because that other friend's daughter's birthday party was the following night. Okay, that's fine. I had no problem driving myself. The next night I headed over, and I got there, and she's sitting there with this other friend. They didn't save me a seat. I had to sit in the the row behind them by myself. They didn't really speak to me. And of course, the friend didn't even look at me. They barely looked at me. Except when she told me I needed to get this other certification, it was going to be $25, and if I didn't want to, then her friend would do it. And I said, well, then let her do it. She's the one that has a kid in this league. At that point, I mean, it hurt my feelings because, I don't have kids. I'm just there. I'm giving up my time. I'm volunteering myself, and you can't even save me a seat. I mean, at that point, I just felt like, okay, well, it seems like whenever both of your friends are around, I feel like you're acting like you have to choose, and you've made your choice that for tonight, and it's not me, and I don't want to be pitted against somebody else's friends. I don't want to be pitted against anybody else. I didn't sign up for that. Honestly, I would probably walk down the meeting if it hadn't started and they shut the door. So as soon as the meeting ended, I got up to leave, and she asked if I was going to go get my ID badge to get on the fields, and I said no, probably not tonight. And I might have had a little tone in my voice. It wouldn't surprise me if I did, because my feelings were hurt. But that wasn't something I was going to get into then. I didn't feel like that was the time or the place, in front of half the county in that room. And I felt at that point that's when she got an attitude with me, and was like, well, what's your problem? Like I said, I wasn't trying to get into it there, so I said, got somewhere else I got to be. Because, I skipped my HOA's annual business meeting to go to this. And, that was my decision. I'm not putting that on anyone else, but figured since that meeting was pretty much a bust, I would try to go catch that. And, she's just like, well, I'm sorry you came. At that point, I was sorry I came too, because I didn't feel like I was wanted or needed. And, based on how I felt I was being treated, that just seemed to kind of signal that I would have just been the odd man out all season. And, I told her, I forget exactly what I said, but, I said something along those lines, I believe, I don't feel like you wanted me here. And she said something about how I was full of shit or something. I don't remember for verbatim. At this point, I'm paraphrasing, but that was the gist of it from what I recall. And I was like, no, what I'm saying I feel has merit. And she told me I could go. Okay, you can leave now. So I said, okay, bye. Have a good night. And we haven't spoken since. At this point, I mean, I don't feel like I want to reach out. Maybe, I mean, yeah, I'm a stubborn person, but I don't feel like I did anything wrong. And sit there and pit your friends against each other. That's how it felt like I was being done. And I don't feel like I did anything to deserve that. And honestly, your friend's a bitch. You're in your 30s, you've got kids, you're a mom. Grow the fuck up and speak to somebody when you see them. Be polite. It's called courtesy. But I don't feel like I did anything wrong by standing up for myself, because I wouldn't treat a friend like that. I wouldn't. I feel like anytime I've got friends from different circles, around each other, I feel like I try to make a very big effort to make sure everybody's happy and comfortable and, enjoying being together. I don't want anyone to feel, uncomfortable or put out or neglected. Because I know, just because you're friends with everyone doesn't mean that everyone's going to be friends with each other. And so saying something, speaking up, standing up for myself, I'm not sorry I did that. I'm not. So, I mean, at this point, if you're watching, you want to talk about it, give me a call. If not, then I guess I'll just have to get around to asking for my spare key back at some point, because at this point, I don't think you want to be my friend anymore. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that's how you feel. But I don't think there's anything wrong with standing up for yourself if you feel like somebody's not treating you very kindly. Alright. So I guess at this point I've been enjoying my own company. Going to the movies Saturday night, that was a pretty big deal for me, because I've always been petrified of going to a movie by myself. I did once in high school and was the only person in the theater, so I don't know why, I just felt traumatized. So it was good. I was glad I went, especially because Maybe For You was so sad. I mean, I did the big ugly cry. I'm glad no one was there to see that. As far as my appointment today, I'd last seen my endocrinologist in May, and he'd done another round of blood work because we had done blood work in January, and it showed my blood sugar was high. That was about it. We did another round, and I got the results and a request to come back and give more blood because my potassium levels were high and my thyroid looked a little off. Get down, Bean. So I stopped in. They drew more blood, and honestly, I don't know what the results mean when I get those in the mail. I don't. And he didn't say anything about having me come back. I'd had an appointment scheduled for July, but ended up having to push it back to now because my surgery was in July, and he had said a month. He wanted to see me a month after surgery. So I go in today for my follow-up, and it was really exciting. Well, my BMI excited me because when I started seeing him back in January, it was 44. Yeah, it was right there, smack dab, in the bright red, you're going to die soon, morbidly obese category of the BMI chart. Today, it was 37, so that's solidly in just the obese. Not towing the line, it's solidly almost in the middle. So it was good to see that progress. I was very excited about that. But then he comes in, he's like, let's talk about your thyroid. And I was like, yeah, what's going on? He diagnosed me with Graves' disease today. I don't know a lot about it. It's a very, very scary thing to hear. Anything with disease behind it is kind of just detrimental. I was trying so hard not to cry in front of him, so I didn't ask many questions. Basically, though, they took more blood, and I'm scheduled for a thyroid ultrasound. And there are going to be several more tests, but those are the first two, and then we'll schedule more once those results are back. So they drew my blood today, and see, at least I look like a classy heroin addict. I'm bandaged up. And my ultrasound, I called and scheduled that. That's next Thursday morning before my surgeon follow-up. I don't know a lot about it. I know he specifically mentioned that one of the treatments was surgery, was surgical removal of my thyroid. Scares the shit out of me. Gosh. Sorry. I feel so frustrated because I guess I just feel like I've fought so hard lately for me. I fought so hard for this surgery, for my sleeve. And I feel like, well, isn't my health supposed to be getting better? That's why I had this sleeve. I didn't want to be a 30-year-old diabetic, and now here I am with gallstones, with a gallbladder that's likely going to come out, and now a fucked up thyroid. Here's what I do know about Graves' disease. It is not the same as an overactive or underactive thyroid. It is the cause of an overactive thyroid. It's one of the causes of, it's called a hyperactive thyroid, right? Let's get those confused. Let's look at this. Hyperactive thyroid, overactive thyroid. That's what Graves' disease causes, is your thyroid to do too much. Which I'm very confused because I'm a big person. I've never heard of a big person with an overactive thyroid. Usually those are the people that are super thin and can't gain weight to save their lives. Wish I would have been asking about this today, but it hit me like a ton of bricks. And, it's me. I'm by myself. I don't have anyone to have my back in these appointments, when I get blindsided. So, I mean, I'm just tired of fighting, I guess. I mean, it's almost like I have to prove how much I want to live. This isn't the fucking Hunger Games, man. Maybe we should call it the Hunger Games. I don't know. You know, maybe there are other treatments for this, but you know, when your surgeon or when your doctor, you know, specifically mentions surgery, surgical removal, and you know, says I've drawn your blood twice and I'm pretty confident that this is what the diagnosis is and this is why, I'm going to go ahead and have all these tests done just to confirm it, but I'm pretty positive. And when he's a specialist of his caliber, I kind of trust what he's saying. So it's been pretty emotional. I sat in the parking lot afterward and called my mom and I cried. God, I'm not gonna do an ugly cry on YouTube. I refuse. I kind of wonder if I'm to blame. Like, you know, have I just treated my body so shitty that, you know, only 30 years in, it's calling it quits? You know, I kind of feel like maybe it's convenient I have Graves' disease, because apparently at this rate I'm on my way to an early grave. And yeah, at this point I'm just kind of having a pity party. So I'm sorry, but I go back to my endocrine doctor in 6 weeks. That's what I scheduled today, but he'll call me in sooner depending on what these first couple of test results show. So the next week I've got this Friday, I follow with my nutritionist, the first time since surgery. I have my 6-week follow-up appointment with my surgeon next Thursday, and the same day is when I have my thyroid ultrasound. So I don't know. I do know that Graves' disease is genetic. Thanks, Dad. You're an asshole. Just kidding. I mean, I know it runs on my mom's side of the family, thyroid issues, but you know, an overactive or underactive thyroid, all right, that happens. That's life. But I guess to actually be diagnosed with a disease is just what shocks the shit out of me. So I don't know. I kind of wish I had a break so I could just kind of gather my thoughts and then start asking questions, because you know, I kind of wonder, well, my weight loss feels a little slow since surgery. You know, after the first 2 weeks I dropped 20 pounds and now I'm struggling for this next 10. Does my thyroid have anything to do with that? I don't know. And I don't know if weight loss or anything is something that can fix your thyroid. I don't know if there's anything that can fix your thyroid. Sometimes I just wish I had, you know, my mom or a friend or just someone who gives a shit with a clear, calm mind to come to these things with me. Because, you know, you can't do it all sometimes. And no, I guess I feel like I have to wait 6 weeks to make a list of these questions to start, you know, getting some answers. So you can best believe I'm not going to Google, because otherwise I'll probably have myself diagnosed with like 3 weeks to live. So, oh gosh. That being said, I'm going to go engage in some retail therapy. Got a couple unexpected checks in the mail today, and yeah, I could use them towards some of my medical bills, but what the fuck fun is that? So, that is it. This is my longest video to date. Here we are at 29 minutes and 6 seconds. So, if you've made it this far, a high five. You are a beast. So, questions, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts, good vibes, just leave them in comments or on Instagram at VSG. Otherwise, I will see y'all next week.